say I'm quite obsessed with their TikToks at the moment between Nicholas Hoult and that David Corn Sweat, because they're obviously really enjoying like being with each other and doing this press tour, but some of it's so funny and I love it.
Yeah, I looked up the one that you mentioned about the trust exercise.
Yeah.
I had a look at that. It's quite funny, yeah. It's only like 12 seconds long, but you're going, yeah, that's really good. It's really funny.
But even on the red carpet this week, I think it was at the London premiere, every time that David Corenswet was getting his photos taken, Nicholas Hoult was just standing in front of him and like,
yeah.
I love it. It's so good. And of course they put the Superman up in the Shard. They suspended that. I thought that was just, that was phenomenal. God bless those actors going all the way up there to stand and do the promo, because I certainly couldn't, but I thought that was like a really cool piece of, like, a really iconic image. Obviously, I think they've done a really good job with the marketing on this, I think.
Good stuff. Yes, yeah, we'll do Superman next week. I got a notification through that it was going to be the first film tomorrow morning. Good. So, yeah, and I knew you'd already booked tickets for it, so yeah, we can talk about that. And
yeah, well, I'm a big Miss Maisel fan, as you know, so that was kind of the big selling point for me on this one.
Well, you'd be disappointed with the amateur then, because she is in that. Is it Rachel Brosnahan? Is that yeah, but she gets killed off really quickly. Seriously, she's the whole reason why the plot gets driven forward. It's her death.
Oh, right.
She's got about 10 minutes screen time, and you're thinking, why even do that?
I know, because I feel like she has a big name. Like,
yeah.
Mrs. Maisel is huge, and she's literally about to be in Superman. So I mean, I feel like she has quite a big name. But oh well. I mean, I suppose
she's very good as well.
Yeah, she is. I'm really excited for this. Like, I genuinely have like really high hopes for this. And I'm seeing it in IMAX as well, because obviously it's like, I feel like there's a whole bunch of films that have come out this year that are shot specifically for IMAX. So I'm making the effort to try and see them in the format that the director sort of desired. So
that's the way it should be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So what else is on the agenda for Monday? What else are you seeing?
It's that first, and then there's Modi, which is 3 Days in the Wings of Madness, which I don't really know very much about at all.
Yeah.
And then there's a film called Harvest in the afternoon. Now, I did look. I think Harvest is a movie release.
Ah, right, okay.
So
for some reason, I thought it was going to be a horror. Like, I had cornfields and serial killers in my head when you said that there.
I don't think you're too far wrong. The tagline is, over 7 hallucinatory days, a village with no name in an undefined time and place disappears.
What the fuck?
So yeah, I know, yeah.
That's David that runs the Well Good Movies podcast. He sent me a thing. It was like, it was a reel, and it was like, oh, sorry, I don't watch regular films. I watch films on Mubi. It's an app. You've probably never heard of it. So I saw this great film last night. It was 90 minutes long. It was just a Norwegian woman peeling an orange. That is so accurate. But that Harvest description is like, that's like elevated horror for movie, isn't it? That's like, yeah.
The Modi movie is actually directed by Johnny Depp. I know.
Oh dear.
Controversy. And the tagline for that is, through the streets of World War Paris, Italian bohemian artist Modigliani attempts to outmaneuver bombs, policemen, girlfriends, and critics in an increasingly desperate search of a home for his art.
And is he playing Modigliani, or is he just directing?
He's not in it at all. It's Riccardo Scamarocchio, who was in John Wick 2, and he's been in various, obviously Italian. He's an Italian actor. He's been in. He's a very well. He was in the last Poirot film, the one set in Venice. He was the bodyguard detective guy in that. But also Antonio Desplat is in it, which is she is the daughter.
I was going to say, is she related to Alexander? Is it Alexander?
Yes, Alexander or Alexandra.
Alexandra, yeah. Beg your pardon. Yeah,
the daughter of the composer. So I think it's one of her first sort of major roles as well. So although the Modi film has only got 5.4 so far, I don't think it's out. I think it's been on the circuit more than anything else. But yes, so yes, that's going to be my viewing tomorrow.
It's an odd triple bill.
Yeah, it's just whatever comes up. Usually there's a kids film, but I don't think there's any out at the moment, any new ones, because they tend to be
odd because it is summer holiday. Oh, well, it's Scottish summer holidays though, so it'll be later, won't it?
Yeah, maybe a couple of weeks' time you'll get the sort of the English one, the English ones as well. But yes, it's all right. So apart from all your traumas and stuff, have you managed to actually watch anything?
I've watched loads since we last spoke. I did season 2 and 3 of the Summer Downwarders, which, as I've said, it's basically Danish Heartbeat, but I absolutely love it. Like, it's a seaside town. They all have really nice clothes. One of the detectives is hot. Like, the murders are like super predictable, and it's very much like, as I said, it's sort of Midsummer Murders or Heartbeat or whatever, but I absolutely love it. I think season 2 is streaming on More 4 just now, with season 3 coming later in July. So highly recommend if you just want to see like nice locations and like the odd dead body. This is the show for you. We also have completed seasons 1 and 2 of Deadwoods on Paramount Plus. I did not expect this program to make me feel all the feelings. I thought it was just going to be like cowboys and shootouts and things like that, but I've had tears in my eyes a few times watching it, but I'm really, really enjoying it. I think obviously Ian McShane is brilliant, even if every second word out of his mouth is a slur. And obviously Timothy Olyphant makes a good, moody sheriff. So I'm really enjoying that and looking forward to watching the last season and obviously the film as well. For my sins, I watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 2. It's just women shouting at each other. It really is. But it's become obviously quite a big phenomenon, so I thought I would just give it a go. And I also watched Department Q on Netflix, which I absolutely adored. It was so good. The general consensus in my Nordic Watchlist group chat is that it's actually better than the Scandinavian adaptations, which I think is like high praise.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, because the films were good.
Drama. So I feel like that's like it's definitely sort of earned its flowers. But I really love the fact that for a Scottish set drama, the lead character is called Carol, which is, and I can't even say it just now, trying to say it properly, like the one name that we cannot say as a nation of people, and that's obviously quite important. But I loved it. I thought it was like exactly our sense of humor. I thought it was gritty. Like some of the stuff really actually quite scared me. The confession chamber scenes and stuff like that. I thought it was really well done. So I hope there's more of that to come. I haven't heard anything, but obviously there's like 5 or 6 books. So hopefully that could lead to more seasons, you would think. But who knows?
I think it has been a hit, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, basically everyone I know, people who don't even like commit to watching stuff, have everyone has watched this. And I definitely think on a local level, there's always, I think, quite a bit of a thrill when you hear your own accent on TV, especially a big show like this. I thought the cast were absolutely brilliant. The guy that played Akram I thought was phenomenal, and Kate Dickie was hysterical. Like I just thought she was so funny in it. She had some really great lines and really great delivery as well. So yeah, I would love to see more Department Q. Netflix, I'm sure you're listening, so please more seasons of that.
Yeah, Kate Dickie's doing some really interesting stuff because she mixes it up between like Robert Eggers stuff where it's just completely mental and things like this and Annika where she plays police inspectors who are just a bit potty mouthed and things like that. And it's just weird. She's got this strange career phase going on at the moment, and it really works for her, because she's excellent in everything she does. Let's face it.
She really is. And was she in? Was it Prometheus she was in, or was it the other one? She was in one of the Alien films, wasn't she? She
was, yes. I can't remember which one. But again, it was just sort of a very sort of forthright character.
Yeah, I feel like she's got that kind of energy about her that you kind of expect it not to be sassy, because that's not the word I'm looking for, but just as you say, like a kind of like a very like what she says is exactly what she means type of character. Like there's no bullshit. Yep. She's just a very forward speaking person. But no, I really, really like, as I say, I absolutely love that. So if they could adapt more of the books, I would be forever grateful. I also watched The Agency Unfiltered, all 3 seasons, because people were talking about it. I don't think that's quite how my marketing career has gone to date. If you've ever seen any of the episodes, I haven't been on company trips to Ibiza or, getting free stuff sent to my house. Mine's definitely been more sort of the, have you hit these KPIs and can you do these reports type of
Yeah. That's the 2 West of Scotland girls, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah. The agency and like Uddingston. No, what's the one near Bothwell? Is it Uddingston? Yeah. So, anyways, they've got their agency there. So I watched the 3 seasons of that. It is interesting though, because just from a perspective of even from seasons 1 to 3 of that, the way that marketing has shifted. Obviously, their primary focus was like Instagram, and then obviously towards like season 3, it was all about TikToks and influencers and all that sort of thing. So it was quite an interesting watch, but yeah, definitely not a reflection of the type of marketing career that I've had. And also like full glam to work every day. That just does not, not happen.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting in the fact that it was these two relatively young people who were starting from scratch and doing it, and the amount of work they had to put in, because everybody thinks, oh, you know, these things
take
just sell themselves.
It
sells itself on Instagram. You know, you buy 1,000 likes or whatever, and then it just, if it's good, it will take off. But no, it's all the grind in the background and all the having to deal with people and having to deal with situations. I thought it was excellent. I watched the first series of it, and it's really impressive what they were doing in it. Something that I could never even contemplate doing.
I know. Well, funnily enough, I said to Chris, I was like, we could totally do this. We could just set up our own agency. And he was like, stop watching telly. He was like, that's enough. But yeah, no, I did. It was certainly an interesting watch as well. So I also watched The Last Journey, which was a documentary I watched for Nordic Watch List about. It was a teacher who'd retired and he'd really declined. So his son decides, and his son's like a sort of radio personality in Sweden, and he decides to take his dad on a road trip to sort of reminisce about one of their first family holidays that they ever had. And it absolutely left me in floods of tears. Like, he presents this little montage to his dad at the end, where it's like all his former students saying how he's changed their lives and how that, you know, they pursued certain career paths because of him. And you see him getting like a little bit, like literally getting more sort of like spring in his step as this goes on, whereas the decline was like horrific. When he retired, like, he basically didn't leave his seat. It was like his speech was partially gone. He was basically just staring into space all day. And then they take him on this holiday, and it is unbelievable. Like, genuinely, like, I don't know if it'll ever get released here, but worth seeking out, because I was a greeting mess by the end of it, which will surprise absolutely nobody. I also watched Godland on iPlayer. Bit grim. It's 2.5 hours of heavy about a Danish priest who goes to Iceland to try and set up like religion there, basically. And as you can imagine, the weather's unforgiving. I watched a sheep get disemboweled, and yeah, it's just all a bit wet and a bit damp, and it's quite heavy watching. But it is on iPlayer if you like that sort of thing. I also watched No Other Lands on Channel 4, which again absolutely broke my heart. That's obviously the Oscar-winning documentary on the current situation in Palestine. To follow that up, I watched Gaza Doctors Under Attack, another documentary which the BBC shat the bed on and didn't broadcast. The Channel 4 have picked it up, and again, it's really not surprising because you know what's going on, but still really shocking and distressing to actually see it all sort of fold, especially, as I say, the targeting of like hospitals in particular, which just seems really sick. But there you go. I also started working my way back through my Universal Monsters box set. So I watched The Phantom of the Opera from 1925 and The Mummy from 1932. Had an absolute hoot with both of them. Like, I love how camp and over the top they are. I think that box set might be one of my favourites. I watched Coriolanus as well on iPlayer, which was a fantastic adaptation. So that's Ralph Fiennes and Gerard Butler, who was so good in it. Gerard Butler, who I genuinely didn't think would do Shakespeare any justice, but he is absolutely brilliant in it. Like, genuinely, those two are like perfectly sort of matched for each other in terms of kind of sparring partners in this. So good. Yeah. Also watched Triangle of Sadness, which I really enjoyed, which I was surprised at because I really didn't enjoy The Square, but Triangle of Sadness was brilliant. I think that's also on iPlayer if you're looking for something weird and unusual to watch. And I watched Reanimator for my Final Girls Club, which just sent me down a rabbit hole where I want to watch all of the sequels, and I watched The Frighteners as well because that Jeffrey, is it Combs that's in Reanimator, was hysterical, and he was just as good in The Frighteners as well. He plays like this sort of like neo-Nazi FBI inspector who struts about in a leather vest, and it's just, he's fantastic. And for podcast stuff, I also watched Barbarian to go on the Modern Horror podcast, which on second viewing, I appreciated it a lot more than I did the first time around. And I watched A Midsummer Night's Dream from 1999 with Michelle Pfeiffer, Stanley Tucci, Christian Bale, that sort of cast for well good movies. And that definitely had its high points and its low points. And it was just interesting to watch another sort of Shakespeare adaptation on film. So yeah, I have actually been quite busy despite all of my various traumas.
It's quite a list. Yeah, that's brilliant.
So, and a nice wee mix of things as well.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want to be able to watch different things and take sort of different experiences and stuff. So obviously you've got all your Nordic watch list stuff that you do and everything. So yeah, excellent stuff. Good. Myself, I watched a documentary on Netflix called Trainwreck, the Mayor of Mayhem, which is about a man who becomes the mayor of Toronto in 2010, rather unexpectedly. There was a bit of a scandal and the mayor had to resign. So this guy, who was always a bit of an outspoken character as a councilman, ran this fantastic campaign, and he got in, and he was just a complete nutter. He was just over the top and everything, and he would just speak how he felt, and he would dress how he wanted and all that. Like within about a year, it was like loads of scandals and stuff, and there was like video of him like at parties taking cocaine and all this sort of stuff, which. And at first he denied it, and it was just this is all just like a 45-minute documentary, and it just they have talking heads with all the people around them, and like how they actually get in the first place and everything like that, and then how it just went all completely nuts, and it was just like totally scandal ridden from day one. There was also, and he could get away with it for a while, but then when these videos started surfacing, like 3 o'clock in the morning, like completely disheveled, and he had like a crack pipe and things like this and all that sort of stuff. So it was really good. It's definitely one to search out, because it's, as I say, it's only like 45 minutes long.
100%. I feel like you don't even think of Canadian politics as being that rowdy. Like, do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas that just sounds absolutely batshit.
It's just, it was particularly crazy, and it's not something I'd heard about. I think I'd heard about it when they were trying to get him out of office, and there was these sort of scandals. But yes, it was really very good. I've been continuing to watch the David Suchet Poirot series. They're pretty much in a constant loop on ITV3 or something. So right. I've been watching some of the early ones of those, and they're quite good. It's just a wee hour, and they solve a crime in an hour, which a lot of these stories in the books tend to do anyway. And it's nice to see, because it's the same idea as like Casualty and Doctors and The Bill and all these. You see all these actors that become really famous, and they're all in these really minor roles, supporting roles and things like that. So it's good to go, oh, I didn't know, that person. That's quite good. I also watched Bodkin on Netflix, which is a murder mystery which is set in Ireland. It's a podcaster, an assistant, and a journalist from The Guardian go over to investigate this murder that happened 20 years ago at this sort of Halloween festival, and people disappeared at it. And it's a sort of a comedy drama about these people. The podcasters are American, and they've all got their own stuff going on in the background. Like the Guardian journalist is over there because there's a scandal happening with one of her informants hung themselves, and he was a whistleblower. So she's away, out of the way from that, and there's this whole investigation going on in London about her. And the American podcaster, he's searching for a hit, because he had this really hit podcast where it was his wife had cancer, and it was like all about her last days and everything. And she recovered. But the podcast was a massive hit, and she recovered, and they split up, and it's very acrimonious and everything. So.
Oh my God. Do you know, it's funny that you say that, because after Chris this week, I was like, we should be influencers. I was like, just think of all the tragedies that we could have turned into content. Oh dear.
So it's this typical little Irish village where they turn up, and instantly everybody knows who you are, because they turn up and they say, and they don't even need to say anything to the first person they meet. They say, "You're the podcasters," and they say, "Yeah," and he says, "Does anybody listen to that?"
No, that hits too close to the bone.
Yeah, and it's a constant refrain. It comes back every time they meet somebody new. "You're the podcasters. Does anybody listen?" This question. They can't quite get their head around it, and it's all this sort of murder mystery element, like people, are holding things back from them and everything. I've maybe about 4 episodes into it. I think it's about 7 episodes. It was
that
from
sounds
maybe about
great.
I think it was last year actually it came out, so that's really good, and it's like just this wee self-contained one story, which I kind of enjoyed as well. On the Brad front, I watched Bullet Train again. It was on Film 4, and I was just like, yeah, give that a bit of a watch again. So that was
and
pretty
Aaron
good.
Taylor Johnson as well, so it ties in.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And obviously there's the whole Thomas the Tank Engine storyline that goes on in that, which I just totally love. I think that's really good.
The stickers.
I also, everybody, yeah. You're a diesel.
Yeah. That is such a great film. Like, I feel like it's the only film where I've seen, sorry, spoilers for what we're going to talk about, Aaron Taylor Johnson and actually going, yeah, you were great in that.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. It was a really good calling card for him for other potential roles that are coming up, obviously, including a certain GB. So we don't know about that. Because I've been away, been watching sort of late night telly and stuff and whatever's on there. So I watched a film which I'd never seen before from 1999 called Double Jeopardy. It was Ashley Judd, Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah.
I love that film. I remember watching that on TV a few years ago. Like, that is a good film.
Mm-hmm. It's a really good thriller, yeah. But it's obviously based on an old sort of film noir from the 50s. There was one called Double Jeopardy. Apparently, it's slightly different story. So I was sitting there watching this, and this has just started, and Leslie's saying, "Oh, so what's this?" And I says, "That's a film called Double Jeopardy." And she says, "Oh yeah, what's happening?" She says, "Well, she's going to get convicted of like murdering her husband, but he's still alive." And she says, "Well, I don't need to watch it then." So, but there's more to it than that, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, that was really good. I actually really liked that. I hadn't seen it before, so I thought that was particularly good. I've also been going back and watching some of the Black Mirror episodes. There's a new season of Black Mirror just come out maybe about a month ago. So I've been going back and watching some of the ones that I've missed because I've just sort of dipped in and out of it. I just didn't watch them all. So I went through some of those, and they're really, really good. All of them, there's like no way to sort of differentiate between sort of the qualities up there. For even though obviously the earlier Channel 4 ones are less produced because there's less of a budget on them, whereas Netflix have obviously thrown a lot of money at them. But yeah, they're all really good. They all hinge on the story more than anything else, which is excellent. I watched Rocky again, which was just on TV sort of late night, and caught that after being on for about 15 minutes. And again, it's one of these films that you just watch because it's there, And I like to go through the list of stuff that's actually on Prime Video, and it says like what's leaving in 30 days, and if there's anything there that I haven't actually seen for a long time or whatever, I usually pick something out of there. So for that, I picked out Hannah, the Joe Wright film from 2011 starring Saoirse Ronan. There was a TV series of the same name done
is she like an assassin or something?
She's a child assassin, basically. Her father was an assassin, and he raises her in the wilderness, and then it's basically, I think her father disappears and she has to go and like get revenge against the people that he used to work for and all that because they disappeared for a reason. And that was really good. It's an excellent film. There's the Chemical Brothers soundtrack to that film as well. Nice. So it's really, really good. So if you get a chance to watch that before it disappears in the next month, then it'd be good. And the last one was The Old Guard. Obviously, The Old Guard 2 is just dropped on Netflix. That was 2020. That was during the lockdown, bizarrely enough.
I don't think I know this at all.
You never seen it? No. Charlize Theron, Matty Schoenaerts, and who's the other guy? I can't remember. But it's a story about these. It's basically immortals who have been, for some reason, they cannot die, and they've all kind of met up and formed a team in order to do good. And obviously, up until now, it was relatively easy to stay anonymous. But now with this digital age where, there's information and images everywhere, it's more and more difficult for them to stay hidden. And somebody wants to find out why they cannot die as well. So it's all got to do with that. So it's a pretty decent film, actually. It might be worth a shout for a wee double bill pod.
Yeah, that sounds quite interesting.
If we're kind of stuck for something, because as I say, they're both on Netflix, and I haven't seen the second one yet. I'm going to watch that probably.
I've never heard of this at all.
Got to remember, it came out during the sort of first phase of lockdown.
Buried during when we were all watching Tiger King.
Exactly, yeah. There was a lot of stuff going on, so I think it was kind of overlooked. But I think it did well enough that they
obviously they've made a sequel. Yeah.
So yeah, that was quite good, and that's pretty much what I've been watching. On holiday, I read a book called Carter Beats the Devil by a guy called Glenn David Gould. I read it about 20 years ago, and the guy's only written, I think he's only written 2 novels. He does an awful lot of other sort of writing and stuff, but the novels are quite far apart in terms of like coming out. And this is about a magician, Carter the Great, in 1910s San Francisco, and it's all about it opens with the then president, is it Coolidge? I can't remember, is on a tour of the various cities in America in order to sort of boost his popularity, because some of his policies are not going down particularly well. And when he reaches San Francisco, he attends the magic show, which is Carter Beats the Devil. And that's the whole third act. It's this big illusion and all sorts of things happen. The president goes to visit it. He takes part in the third act of it, the big finale, where it looks as if he's getting dismembered and everything, but it's not really. It's obviously an illusion. Yeah. And he actually comes out of a tiger's stomach at the end of it as well, or a lion's stomach, I should say, fully formed and back to normal. And then 3 hours later, he's dead in his hotel room. Ooh, so the Secret Service are trying to find out how he died and what Carter, if anything, if he had anything to do with it and all that. And then it goes back and tells you all about Carter's actually upbringing in San Francisco and how he got into magic and all that. And it's an excellent book. It's just one of these sort of it's like an adventure story more than anything else, but it's really well written and it's really compelling, and it's set out as if it's like you have your prologue and then you have your first act and then second, and then there's the grand finale, which is the third part of the book and all that. So it builds up really, really nicely, and it's just a fantastic, easy read. So that's what I've been working away on holiday. It's quite good. And I did find he'd had another book out as well, so I have got a hold of that as well. So I will be reading that at some point, but I don't know what that's about at all. So that's something to look forward to as well. It was quite nice. I've got a wee Sony e-reader, which I've had for years and years. I must have had this thing for the best part of about 20 years anyway. So I've been using that again. It's not like backlit or anything, so you can't use it like in the dead of night or anything. So, and it's smaller, just sort of 7-inch, rather than like using an iPad, which is slightly bigger and just that wee bit heavier and everything. So it's been good just to go back to that again, just actually using e-readers. I know you normally use print books, but do you have an e-reader?
No, I did have a Kindle for a while, but nothing beats the feeling of actually having, I love obviously having a book in my hands, the smell of books, and it's really bad because on holiday I will get through obviously 3 or 4 books and they obviously take up space, but I just can't bring myself to. It was called Max Kindle, he had a name and everything, but but I gave him up. I'm a bad mother.
No, I can totally get that. I totally understand why. Because I was the same with books. It was always, you wanted to have something physical, and I still do. I've still got lots of books. If I'm buying books about cinema and stuff, it's not.
They're better to have. I think.
Especially because if there's illustrations and images and stuff, it's much nicer, and it's nice to actually have these things up on your shelf as well. I know you recycle a lot of yours. Yeah.
To let people know you're intelligent, obviously you keep the good books.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. Although I don't know what the Viz annuals say about me because I've got a few of those.
Oh dear. Well, I do feel like I once I've read books, if I think it's there's a status thing involved, if they're going to make the bookshelf or not, and if they don't, then they obviously get recycled into the community library. But Chris always jokes that the way you come up our stairs, the bookshelves that are like around that corner, because mines are split into fiction and non-fiction. The non-fiction's on the bottom, and as you come up the stairs, like the first thing you're greeting with is like Anthony Beevor's World War II, Nazi wives, all this sort of thing. So there's just like a big stack that's what's hits your eye line when you come up our stairs. So I want you to rethink the shelving situation.
Yeah, I was reading there was an article in the Sunday Times about Mein Kampf being 100 years old this year. So
are we celebrating the anniversary? Is that thing?
I think they're just noting it and saying it's gone from being sort of fringe to a lot of the stuff that's been taken from it has gone from fringe to mainstream.
Yeah.
Now, so yeah. You'll be able to display your signed copy of it as well.
Not even just a copy, a signed copy. Oh, God. Oh, that's absolutely hysterical. I remember, though, genuinely, as part of my dissertation, because my dissertation was on contemporary German cinema and the Holocaust, I had to take out a few books from the library at uni, and there's like a rule within libraries and bookshops about how many copies they can have of that, obviously to stop people basically like reading it, essentially, because it is such an extremist text. But there is like actual enshrined law about how many copies you can carry of that, which is absolutely, well, mad, but also makes complete sense at the same time.
And it would be monitored
like,
as well.
It feels like dangerous almost, like to have a copy of that. But Jesus, I mean, I can't believe that they were noting it's its 100th anniversary. But then at the same time, look at the whole alligator Alcatraz thing that's just been built in the States. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, that's a concentration camp.
Oh, so yeah.
It's, have we learned anything? No.
Well, they've obviously learned something. In
well, yeah, they've taken the wrong message. But yeah, it would be interesting to know. There will be historians and like sociologists and stuff like that who, in years to come, will be able. I mean, you don't need to be a genius to draw the parallels, but in a way, that's why I guess Trump is such a fascinating case study, because it's literally straight out the playbook, isn't it? It's like fascism 101. So.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yep, go for the media, go for the academics, and then put people against other people.
Yeah.
You know, the other people are doing wrong things and horrible things and all that. What I don't understand, though, is the whole the Jewish thing with their administration, because they are obviously backing Israel and taking part, but at the same time, right-wingers tend to hate Jewish people because it's like the New World Order and the bankers and all this sort of stuff, and they're controlling everything.
I think in a way, I mean, as I say, having watched those two documentaries sort of relatively back to back as well, I think a lot of administrations are only too happy to turn a blind eye on it because, unfortunately, it is people of colour that it's happening to. Like, look at the outcry there's been over Ukraine, obviously, and we've all rushed to Ukraine's defence, and rightfully so. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have, but my point is that these people looked like us, and therefore we were only too happy to rescue them. Whereas, you know, a woman in a headscarf crying over her son in a keffiyeh doesn't have the same impact, and that's why we don't care as much as a society. I'm not saying us as in like us personally, I just mean as a society. But I don't understand that either, the conflation between absolutely supporting Israel but equally being anti-Semitic. Now, again, that's not to say that Israel represents all Jewish people. It's obviously a very extreme brand of Zionism within itself. But yeah, I don't get the whole Trump supporting Israel when he literally made a Shylock comment this fucking week. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it.
Yeah. I think, well, that's part of the game plan, isn't it? You can chop and change as you want. You can say what you want. You can do what you want. And then if you change it, then that was last week's news. And we didn't actually say that. We didn't actually mean that. Okay, I think, yes, it's confusion reigns, and that's
100%. It's like gaslighting on a major scale. But I mean, I watched that speech this week, and he was like, we're not going to be beholden to, he was like, sometimes nice bankers, other times Shylocks. And I'm going, did you actually just say that out loud? What the ever-loving fuck is going on? But in a way, it's like, what is that book called? And it's like, you keep people in such a confused state all the time by sort of like one week you have this big announcement, and then if you pull it back next week, nobody will notice because you're doing something else. Is it like the chaos theory or something? And it's like you just keep people in this constant state of confusion and not really knowing what's going on. But as long as you give them enough stuff to hate, like it keeps you in control. Is that the thing? What I'm thinking of?
Yeah, it's very 1984 as well, isn't it? The double speak and they're at war with somebody and then they're at war with somebody else. So there's people who constantly just changing the history.
Yeah,
they're changing all the books to refer to their allies and everything. It's just it's totally crazy. It really is. But yes, this is the world that we live in. Yeah.
Every day, we're one step closer to apocalypse, it feels like. So.
Yeah, afraid so. What did you think of the fact that there was a whole storyline cut out of F1? Josh's girlfriend.
The girl from Bridgerton. See, to be honest with you, I read it and I thought, I'm not sure what it would have added, because already I had issues with the storyline with, as I say, the Kerry Condon Brad Pitt romance. I feel bad that she's been cut out because obviously she's committed to it. But again, it's a 2.5 hour film. Where was that going?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
She was doing press for the film.
I know, which is bad. It is. But I suppose, who was it? There was somebody, it was a Scottish actor as well. I can't remember who it was. They thought they were in Gladiator and they took their mum to the premiere and it was only there they realised they'd been cut out. I can't remember who it was. It was definitely somebody Scottish.
Yes, I can't remember, but yeah.
I appreciate these things obviously happen. It's just bad that she'd started doing the press tour for it. But I'm just not sure where that storyline would have gone, if I'm being honest. As I say, it's a 2.5 hour runtime. I'm not really sure how much more you could have added to that without.
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need an additional sort of romance relationship story in there, because I think a lot of his emotional beats were covered by the stuff
his mum. Yeah. Which I appreciated a lot more as well. And obviously, again, the reflections of Lewis Hamilton, he's obviously got a very strong relationship with his mum as well, and she's always at his races and stuff like that. So I don't really know where that storyline would have gone, because obviously for me, it was like his big thing was he was going to lose his seat if the team folded and there was no other vacancies within the other teams. And so he was trying to do the whole social media thing. He was trying to win points. He was obviously sort of battling against Sonny sort of on a personal level. So I'm not really sure where that would have fitted in, but I do feel bad. Like, for somebody that's obviously started doing press, that's pretty poor. But I think Joseph Kosinski came out and said, look, we just couldn't make it work in terms of the final cut. And I guess these films do go through various edits, I suppose. And
they will, yes. Yeah.
That just happened to not make the final one. It is a shame, but I'm just not sure where it would have gone. As I say, it's a long film as it is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think it was necessary for it, but it is a shame. But she will still have been paid.
I was going to say, I'm sure she'll not lose any sleep over it. I mean, I did notice that they credited her at the end, because obviously you see her fleetingly. She's got the big VIP paddock pass on. You do see a glimpse of her, because I think you see it's like her and then it looks like the Hemsworth brothers or something like that. She is credited, obviously, as appearing as herself and not as a character. But yes, I'm sure she'll not lose any sleep over her paycheck.
No, I think it'll be all right, yes.
And she's obviously a big enough star from Bridgerton alone. Like, people really love that. So I'm quite sure there will be other opportunities.
Yes. Oh, definitely, yes. It happens all the time, like you say. Yeah. I mean, there's, what was it, The Thin Blue Line? Terrence Malick war film, was it a Korean war film? And if you look at the number of actors that are listed in that, some of whom, I think it was Adrian Brody, he was told he was the main actor, he was the main star in that film, and he was cut out of it completely. Or it was like a tiny minor role. And there are stories about actors doing like extensive shooting for that film. Thin Red Line, not Thin Blue Line, Thin Red Line. They were on set for weeks at a time, and there's nothing when they actually saw the film. They weren't told at any time until it actually came out, and then it was like, I thought I was the main lead in this, and relegated to some wee minor role.
I think it would somehow be worse if you thought you were the lead. Like, I'm quite sure that Simone actually didn't think she was the lead of that film. Yeah. I think it'd be worse if you thought you were the headline act, only to find out you either had one line or none at all. That's awful. Such as show business, you know.
Yes, such